Hi, Matthew. You're still muted. There we
Hello.
go. Hey.
Nice background.
Yeah, I'm practicing with the Zoom backgrounds. You can add backgrounds to your, as if you had a green screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of cool, fun.
Very tropical.
Yeah. Seeing we can't go anywhere, we may as well
Pretend. That's
feel
right.
like we can. Yeah. Julie's just joined us.
Hi.
Hi, Julie. We have a handful of acceptances tonight, so we'll wait a minute or two to see when other people are coming in. In the meantime, I'll catch up with what's happening in Victorian education.
Yeah, well, the kids went home today. We had about 2/3 of the kids were in class today.
Mm-hmm.
The childminding operation, to be honest. We actually had a practice with using Zoom with the kids today. We had our 4 teachers there all in different rooms and showing them how it might look when they come back after Easter. But other than that, you've got a lot of panicked parents who are out there sort of wondering what's next and how can I help and what do we need to do for them, and a few kids who are sort of a little bit stressed and a few kids who are very excited about the concept of no FaceTime for a few weeks. So we'll see how it all plays out after Easter, I suppose.
Yeah. What about in the secondary sector, Julie? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I was eating my dinner. I didn't think you needed to hear me chewing.
Oh, that's all right. Casual.
No, I'm in primary, so pretty
right.
similar. We had probably half our kids here. Yeah, it's just pretty crazy. No one really knows what's going on. The department's not being very clear, I don't think. Just get ready, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I suppose I'm trying to look on it as an opportunity to do new things and do in a different way. But I'm hearing from American friends who've gone online in the last, who as parents are at home with kids, and teachers have gone in hard with trying to do like the standard curriculum in 40-minute blocks during a school day. And, if you've got 2 or 3 kids at home, that's a nightmare for parents to manage. So, I think the system needs to be a little more, go in softer and build up rather than go in so hard.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I'm hearing from people that like they had, in one of the secondary classes, they had, I don't know, say 25 learners. Alicia's just joining us. Welcome, Alicia. And you're still muted and no video at the moment. But yeah, I'm hearing that, like, say in a science class of 23 students, they had 23 on the first day, 22 on the second day, and something like 15 on the third day. The numbers were like dwindling as they went on. So yeah, I think in America particularly, everyone just thinks they were transferring the daytime schedule to an online schedule and not being a little more creative with what they were doing. And parents are just, I mean, some of my colleagues work in tech companies, and so they're very versed with all the technology. But if you've got 3 kids at home trying to video conference with teachers, using different computers and how many machines you've got at home and how many quiet spaces you've got for kids to work, and yeah, it's trying. Alicia, you're still muted. I can unmute you so that we can hear you, and your camera is not on, so okay. And what you'll see in the background of me, I know it's kind of cool. I was playing with you can green screen backgrounds into Zoom. So that could be cool if you're thinking about using Zoom as a tool in any of your online teaching. So I think we'll make a start because and is everyone okay with this being recorded? you can say no, but all I'm sharing it with is in our team space. So if someone didn't make the meeting that wanted to know how to do any of what we're going to talk about, then they have the opportunity to watch the recording. So it'll just be kept in our team space as evidence that the meeting took place and, you know, just where we're going. So I'll start with a Q&A first up, in case any of you have any burning questions we need to answer rather than leave them to the end and we miss out on them. Are there any questions about the Minecraft project? Or, and I can't answer most of them any more than you can answer what's happening in the future with school. But I'm hoping that people will consider Minecraft as a viable part of their online teaching, because we think they've totally sorted out how to do this remotely to kids. And we're going to actually try it tonight, I hope. So we'll see how we go. So any questions?
No, I'd be keen to see how it works remotely. I've already said to kids that we might have to meet in Minecraft next term, and they're very, very excited to give that a go. So if we can do it, it'd be fantastic.
Cool. Yeah. I posted in one of the team spaces, and I'll just share my screen so I can show you where I've put things in our. Bronwyn has to practice getting in the right screen up. In our team space, I've created a discussion which may not show immediately. You might have to unhide it. It might be shown as a hidden channel. But there's a teaching online with Minecraft as a discussion. And we started dropping resources in there that will support what people want to do. And so there's a lovely story there about a Japanese school that was forced to close. So they held their graduation ceremony in Minecraft, which was great fun. And the kids still felt, you know, that they were celebrating finishing out their school time. And myself and other people have shared resources there that could be very helpful. I know a lot of people are using Zoom, and I'm a big fan. I like Zoom. I find it's really quite reliable and robust. So the instructions we're going to look at are the instructions for running a remote multiplayer game. And there's been a discussion ongoing in Facebook over the last 2 weeks about how this best works. And one of the people to join that discussion was Deirdre Constrom, who's the head of Minecraft Education Edition Global in Seattle. And so she listened to what people were saying, went back to her tech people, and they rewrote these instructions to ensure that they were clear for people to follow, knowing how important it is at the moment that people get clear instructions on what to do. So are you seeing my screen that says how to set up a multiplayer game?
Yep.
Great. And so there's a few conditions that you have to meet, and they're really not onerous unless we find there's something strange with the DOE Vic, but we'll see how we go. And really those requirements are the first thing down here in the list. So as long as everyone's in the same Office 365 tenant, and so we, in a few minutes we're going to test that and see if we can join a game from our disparate points of contact, but using our logins for education for Minecraft. So we all have to be on the same tenant. That means they have to be using their email, their logins for Office 365, which are, you know, the department emails. It's also recommended that the host computer has some reasonable bandwidth, because wherever the host computer is running, the students can be connected. That if you close down Minecraft on the host computer, the students are no longer connected in that world. There also doesn't seem to be anything that would stop the kids from connecting to each other inside the departmental accounts. So they could work on a project together. So I'm thinking at the moment with it going online, the cleverest thing to do is to look at project-based learning as a viable solution. I know we do it really well in school, but it's really a gem online where you can do multidisciplinary projects. So the host computer needs to have some reasonable bandwidth, but we'll test that in a minute as well. The players need to all have the same version of Minecraft, and so they recommend making sure you've got the latest version of Minecraft. And currently that's let me just check.
1260.
1.12.60, yes. So as long as everyone has that version, theoretically they should be able to connect without any problems. The only proviso there is personal networks, the actual internet setup of the home environment. Now, if you remember on our launch day, we had an issue with the Docklands Library in that Library at the Dock did not permit peer-to-peer access. And I think that's probably to prevent people playing gaming from inside the library. It's not usually something that's set up on a home network unless people have put in some kind of provisions. So, you know, it may come down to the home network connection for some people. And there's some help things there. And Deirdre's also said if we have any particular problems, if you pass those back to me, I'll pass them on to her and they'll look into, you know, if there's anything they can do to help in terms of the troubleshooting for this. So are we game to try this?
I don't know if I've got the latest version on this. This is my home computer, but we can soon update it.
It doesn't take long to download the update. If you launch Minecraft, you see in the bottom right-hand corner, you should see what version you're running. I'll just change what I'm sharing on my screen so you're looking at Minecraft. What about Matt and Alicia? Matthew's muted, but yeah, are you running 1.12.60? Yep, great. I'm going to share the Minecraft login now. So I'll stop sharing the other screen. For the moment, I'll try hosting to see how we go. And I know I'm running 1.12.60, so let's go play. I think for the ease of work, I'm going to create a new world. And I'm going to go for the easiest options. I'm going to make it flat so we can see each other fairly readily. Nothing else happening. And I'm going to choose host. So you should see there that I'm choosing, instead of play, I'm choosing host. By the way, these little messages that you see coming up that fill the time while Minecraft's loading are really helpful. I learned something almost every login that I didn't know, so always keep an eye on those, on what's happening. Okay, so I'm just waiting for that to start. Okay, so I've got a world, it's flat, and I'm in it. And I'm just going to get the code. So I have a code now. Let's see if we can get it in. So you're going to, when you log in, you're going to do join instead of, when you do play, you want to do join to join a world. Are you all seeing that?
Yep.
Okay, and so the code that that this is offering me to give you is panda for number 1, balloon, panda, sign, and then you want to click to log in.
I can't get to my screen because you're stuck over the top of it.
Oh, you can't minimize Zoom?
No. Hang on, view options. Ah, that's better.
So I'm seeing Alicia, myself, Matt. Just waiting for you, Julie, to jump in. And I'll make sure, I have to just check on Zoom to make sure I don't have anybody waiting to get in that I've missed. Okay, so we are all in. We'll just go to resume game and get out of this, and we should be able, we probably all landed on top of each other, so you will need to move to see each other. Right, there we are. Bing, bang, boom. That was nice and easy. And we didn't have, well, it was pretty quick joining in. I'm just going to take a screenshot because that's kind of cool. Gather in a little bit. Yay. All right, so that works. That was reasonably easy. Any difficulties on any of your ends getting in?
No, super easy.
No, I do this with the kids all the time. As long as you've got the same version, it's easy.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was excellent being able to test it because you used to be able to do this, and you know, there were some other tricky things if you read those instructions that some schools have had to do port forwarding and things like that. I find the code in the Minecraft join is really nice as opposed to trying to give kids IP addresses, which is, you know, seems like a foreign language. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that. So we are all in, and we could, oh, you just fill in a hole. Who's over there taming a horse?
Trying to.
Yeah, so this is really nice. I'm hoping you'll all take advantage of doing that. And I know there's only a small group on our call, but I post the recording, and other people will be able to come and watch and see what we did to get in. But it was nice on the screen. I could see who was there. I could give you different rights in the world. So when you're looking there at the options, that crown there lets you change the rights of that person. Visitor can freely explore but cannot interact with blocks. Member can join and break things and create things, and operators who can set permissions. So if you're team teaching, you might want to make each other operators, but if you're otherwise, you would want generally be using member access. Okay, so good going. I think it's nice doing this the first time over Zoom too, which is, you know, really good screen sharing when you're doing it with the kids to give them a chance to see exactly what the code is that they need to put in. Cool. So, any questions about that?
It's been good having a Year 3 student at home. My son's in Year 3, so he's been a very good test subject. Well, instructor, I should say, but he's been helping me to run sessions with practice on him.
Great, great. Well, I'm trying to encourage everybody to consider that, you know, their project, even if we are online teaching, doesn't need to go out the window, that there's still a lot of viable ways to do that. Just doing it remotely, and, you know, just having a live test there that we can demonstrate to people, yay, this works. For the most part, there is an equity issue, of course, that we do need to consider in terms of kids who don't have internet access at home, or aren't allowed internet access, or, you know, for one or another reasons don't have, and we have to look at viable alternatives for them. But I think if for the most part, it's a very worthwhile exercise. Now, there is one other thing in those instructions. You'll see that there is a possibility that the performance tends to degrade at around 20 logins. So you may not be wanting to have a full class of students in, you know, in remote locations, all coming in at once. Whether you want to split a group or work with a group, or however you want to think about using it, just to ensure the connection stays strong. Just remember that 20 as a performance issue that tends to fall off after 20. You can do it with 30, but again, it's not much fun if the whole lesson falls over in the middle of it. And I think there's room to get creative, like the Japanese group, you know, have a block party in Minecraft. Use it as a social space for the kids to continue their social activities from class if they want to. I think there's room to see it as more than just a curriculum tool. So, any questions on that? No. Okay,
No.
Cool. I'm going to go back to our team space. I just want to stop sharing Minecraft and go back. And I'm so glad I needed you guys to test that as well, because I didn't want to test with children. So I'm glad that we were able to get it happening. And I'm just going to take a screenshot of that with us all connected. If you can move in behind me where you can see me on screen, in the world, I'd love that, because then I can, yeah, so I can see you. I can see, yeah. If you move to near the horse that's behind, there's a horse behind me. If you can move in round in there, then I can get a screen grab with everybody in it. Yep, just stop right there. Yep, excellent. Matt, you might want to just move a little bit left. There, stay there. Cool. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing on that and go back to our team space, because the other thing we need to think about is our lesson plans for this project going forward. Now, as I said, none of us know what's happening with this project, not with this project, but with teaching and what online teaching is going to look like. But in terms of the project, we do have a lesson template that we've worked out. And I just wanted to point that out to people and show you where it is. And I'm looking at the wrong screens. In the Teams space. So are you seeing the Teams space now?
Yep.
Okay, great. So in there, it's been put in general. So if you go up to general and then into files, there's Minecraft lesson template as a doc there. Now, what we've done is there's a Minecraft template for a lesson to publish on education.minecraft.net. And it's really very skimpy in terms of what it asks of you. And then Acme is building another project called Game Lessons, and they wanted to include Minecraft lessons that you guys are working on. And that project's in Victoria and funded by the Victorian Department of Education as well. So what we've done is merged the kind of data that's required for the Minecraft publication and the Acme publication. And it looks like a lot of information, but some of it, you know, you may not need to fill out in great detail, and other bits of it will be more important. So it's a 3-page form that you can fill out. And if you have any feedback or something jumps out at you, it's something that's missing or something that doesn't make sense, I'd really love people to put comments on this document so that we can make sure it's nailed down as the best it can be. And as I say, it looks like a lot, but most of it's checkbox material. So that makes it very searchable in a database for people to find the kind of lessons they would want. So that's that. And those are the lessons that we're going to ask you to share in term 2, whatever start term 2 looks like having now. But what we're suggesting is that we would share those lessons in the cluster group that you belong to, and before you're going to teach them, whether that's ends up being online or physical, and just get some feedback on them before you start. You know, if there are ideas other people would like to share. So, for instance, the Managing Minecraft group might, when you post your lessons and we critique each other's, might have some questions about how you're managing a certain aspect of it, or, you know, have you thought about doing X, Y, Z, or, you know, other students working in groups or individually. Sometimes that little piece of information that's missing makes the lesson that much harder for the person following you to pick it up and run with it. So we want these lessons to be, in effect, something that the next teacher coming after you could go, wow, that's a fantastic lesson. I love that. I'm going to download it and then start that lesson myself. Okay, what details do I need? What do I need to get prepared? So on, so on, so on. So it needs to be something that someone else could fairly readily run with beyond you. So that's there. As I say, it's still being finalised, but it's pretty close to finished. And if you see anything, you think it's too long, you don't think there's a heading missing. I don't like the fact that assessment's on the end. I would very much like to move that, just that evidence gathering to me is something that's very important to be early in the piece and to be thought about early. But certainly if you have a quick look at it and see what you think, and you can be brutally honest if you like. You know, we're not in this to make work for you. We want to make these lesson plans valuable for the next wave of teachers who want to come into using Minecraft in their classrooms. So that's the lesson plan. Any questions on that?
Seems to be straightforward.
The idea being that because Vincent's project at Acme will be other games, not just Minecraft, so there are some things here that are kind of generic, like, you know, is it console, laptop, iPad, you know, what technology? So there are things there that will differentiate, you know. So teachers teaching with games with iPads will want to go in and see all the things that are viable to use on an iPad, for instance, or, you know, if they're using desktop computers or Chromebooks, for instance. So anyway, lots of detail there, and you can put in as much or as little as you think is necessary to get someone else going on the lesson that you're devising. Do you all have an idea on what it is you were planning to teach in term 2? Do
Yep.
you want to share?
Sure. So this term we've done in science, we've been looking at biological adaptation. So each student has an endangered animal that they've been looking at. So next term they're going to do a bit more research on the environment that that animal lives in, and we're going to use a flat world, and they're going to have a space that they're going to actually build their animal and the environment and make sort of like a giant endangered animal zoo with the information and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. So that's a very viable space. One thing you might consider in the project is choosing an exemplar world that could be attached to your lesson as well. Whether you start with a designed world, or whether there's one of the kids' worlds that you attach, or whether you might on the school website publish a blog post or something about what the kids have done, and we want to link those back into the lesson.
Yep.
Cool. Alicia, what are you doing?
Haven't come up with my idea yet.
Okay, that's
Still work
fine.
in progress.
Nobody had to have anything done. Our plan was term 1 is planning and thinking. Term 2 is getting ready and implementing and reflecting. So, hopefully term 2 is as long as we thought it was going to be, and things are still quite viable. And Matthew, have you got an idea of where you're going?
A couple of ideas. The first was sort of the extension of our current community unit, where we went for a walk through our community, and we came back, and the question I guess we've posed to the kids is, what would make Morty Alec better? So they've got business ideas and things like that they're trying to come up with that they think our area is missing. So if I can work out how to do the world as kind of like a mock-up of our local area, they'll then get to build their business in a situation that suits their business. So if they're a beach base, they try and get down near the beach, or if they need grassland or the main street sort of thing. If I can't get that mapping element of it to work, which I understand is quite a bit trickier than I perhaps thought it might be, the one thing was perhaps just a real startup lesson about how to survive your first night kind of thing for the kids who are really new to it, because I'm in grade 3, so our kids, it's their first sort of exposure to it for many of them. So to try and upskill those kids who may be looking around and feeling a bit overwhelmed by the skills of their partners or the other kids in the class, that it could just be a simple little, well, this is how you survive your first night. This is what you got to do. And then from there, they can go and explore a little bit more to try and give a fairer baseline, I suppose. So that wouldn't be for everyone, just those kids who are maybe a little bit behind the others.
Okay, cool. I'd love to see what can we do to make Morty Alec better. I know I said we were going to get Lynn Telfer into the space. We're in trouble bringing her into Teams because she has a different email address or account, and the system, when I try to add her, sees her as a foreign person to the department. So maybe we'll try and get a call together of people who are interested in doing that as well, because I know a couple of other tech people who could join us on a call like that on how to do the Google mapping, right. Google Earth. And I think you're not the only person who's interested in doing something like that.
I think pretty much every unit has some sort of community-based, or, essentially even a zoo-based one could be a similar sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Melbourne Zoo sort of template or whatever, and say, okay, how are we going to redesign it? And we could have engaging animals in there, or however it happens to be. So I think the scale is the issue of how big an area you need mapped, from what was being said to me the other day, that if you try and select too big an area to turn into your map, then each block that you place becomes way too big.
Yes.
Which means you then lose detail, and it becomes very hard to actually create a structure of any relevance.
Yeah. So would you be interested if I got like a short half-hour call and, you know, a couple of people who've done this to take us through what they did and their advice?
Yep.
Great, because that's a good topic. And I know that it's come up, a couple of other people have got that sort of buzzing in the back of their mind as something they'd like to do. So I certainly know people who've done it that we might be able to get to help us out. So that would be great. Other than Lynn has done it, but, you know, I think if it's something we could all do together at a point in time that, like we just did with logging in, if we could step through what the process is to do something, that would be great.
No,
I know we had to do that with the Antarctica one. The Antarctica data was actually, they had mapped it out of Google Earth, but it was in a different version of Minecraft, and we had to do some play with that to get it to actually work in Education Edition. So there are some little intricacies in using that kind of data or previous versions. But yeah, let's put that down as a topic, and I'll certainly hunt out whether we can get, you know, we could make it a Monday night in term 2, and anyone who's interested in the Google Earth, importing the Google Earth data and hints and tips on how to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I guess like even smaller scale, like a lot of people do the old, you know, build our school. But if you had the template, I guess, sort of as your, or we do our differentiation is sort of mild, hot, spicy. You could have different options where some kids had the template sort of put there for them, and you brought around or whatever, and then the other option would be the kids who are flying a bit more.
Yeah. And also this, you don't always want the kids to build absolutely everything. I think Mini Melbourne is a great example of that. You know, the level of authenticity and the things that they can dive straight into doing, like we did on, you know, considering how to build a greening Melbourne. You can dive straight into doing something about that. So yeah, that would be great. All right, well, that's my homework then, is to get together a group of people who can technically support anyone who wants to do that.
Fantastic.
Are there any other topics that are kind of issues for people that we could consider? As I said in the email, given we might be completely working remotely in the nearest future, in our new normal, we're looking at doing like 60-minute mini academies on topics that are really things people, I'd love to be able to do this so that we can take advantage of the impetus that's there for this project. So don't be shy if there's something you'd really like to learn how to do or have support on doing. We will be having one on assessment and, you know, just generating really great assessment ideas. And we will be having one on children with special needs. And I've got guest speakers for both of those 60-minute meetings. So I think coming down to more micro stuff now and just supporting each other in getting going online. Do you foresee problems? Julie, you've done a little bit of this. Do you foresee any problems using Minecraft remotely?
Provided I do have a few kids that don't have internet at home, so obviously that's going to be an issue for them. But our kids are all quite efficient at logging in and know what to do and how to get in there. Getting Minecraft onto their home computers, they should be able to do that. Some already have. I don't think it's going to be a major issue. My plan was just to say a login time, and we use Class Dojo as a communication platform. I'll just put up the join code on that, and then I'll just leave my computer running for, you know, several hours or whatever it is, so they can just go in and do their building. I don't have to sit there and watch them, and just pop back in and out and check how they're going from time to time.
Well, you can also just run classroom mode as well, adjacent to that, so you don't have to go into Minecraft. You can just watch the chat log in classroom mode.
Yeah, right.
So if you've got that open, it's really easier to scan, like if you want to scan the chat or see where everybody is in the world, or just quickly chat with them. Classroom Mode's a great tool to have running as well. We have
I haven't really looked at that, so yep.
one of our teacher academies 2 weeks ago was looking at Classroom Mode, and you'll see there's a slide set in the Teacher Academy. It's in Managing Minecraft, in the Managing Minecraft cluster. Yep. In Files, you'll find my slide set for there that'll take you through how to use Classroom Mode.
Okay, cool.
It's a separate app you have to download, but it talks to Minecraft, to the world you're running. So in order to do it, you have to start a world, then you open Classroom Mode and you tell it the address of the world, and the two talk to each other. And then you can just read that, have that app on screen, and the chat that's happening in the world is scrolling along. You can keep an eye on that without having to sort of bop back into Minecraft itself.
Yep.
You can see where the learners are in the world. You could freeze all the kids. You can do a whole lot of stuff in terms of managing it. So yeah, have a look in the slides for that. Alicia, have you used Classroom Mode? We're not hearing Alicia.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I haven't actually used Classroom Mode, so I'm going to have a look into it and try and learn a bit over the holidays about it.
Yeah. It's not a big app. All it does is show you, you can see a list of who's logged into the world that you're running.
Yep.
On the left, on the bottom right, you can see the chat that's going on at the time, and you can see there's a map of where everybody is in the world. So you can see if they're all together building in one place or they're spread out all over the place. And you can actually, move them all to a place. So you can pick them up and drag them to a spot if you want them all together. And there is a little godlike power in Classroom Mode that allows you to freeze the game for everybody in the world. So if you wanted to freeze their play and then in the chat say to them, hey guys, look, I noticed you're all spread out all over the place, or, you know, give them some kind of instruction in the world, you can do that.
So if you have Classroom Mode running, are you still in that world as a participant?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay.
So your avatar is still in the world, but Classroom Mode is a separate app that you can see that as a almost a teacher interface of the group. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
So it's really worthwhile. You'll see it's, if you go to where you download Minecraft, you'll find download Classroom, and you just run it. And you have to. There's a little step where you have to tell the world that you're to link the two for you. So the kids aren't seeing Classroom Mode, you are only as the teacher. But the steps for that are in the slideshow that I had for the Teacher Academy on Managing Minecraft. So certainly worth dropping in and having a look at the slides, and it'll tell you how to connect the two up. And if you have any problem when you're practicing with it, I've sent everybody my mobile number. You know, like if you want to text me and say, hey, could we meet for 10 minutes and help me solve this problem with Classroom Mode, I'm really happy to help out with that. So, you know, don't be shy. And don't struggle with something, because there's nothing worse than, you know, like not being able to see how to solve something when you know it should be something you can solve. So I don't claim that I can talk to you straight away necessarily, but we can certainly book a time that day, or, you know, somewhere where we can fit 10, 15 minutes in to solve a problem. So everyone has my mobile number, I think. I sent it out in the email.
Yeah.
So Classroom Mode is really great, particularly if you're working remotely. You can see if you've got, you know, if there's supposed to be 15 kids there, you'll be readily able to see the list of who's there. You know your 15 are there or not. I think one of the topics we're going to have for one of our 60 minutes is going to be equity. How do we provide equity? If you're going to create significant activity or projects in Minecraft, how do we provide equity for kids that don't have access or aren't allowed to have access, or whose parents don't see the value in it? You know, how do we give them still a motivating and exciting thing to do if they're not allowed to join in this part of the work? So that's another topic for another day. Are there any other questions?
No, all good.
Well, on that note, are you guys officially, when are you officially on holidays?
Not till Friday, so it's a little bit of a fluid arrangement, I think, where technically 30% of staff are supposed to be on site for supervision of kids of essential services workers. This week was supposed to be our planning week anyway, so most of our school's going to be on site, certainly tomorrow, and then I think it'll vary over the week, but it's, yeah.
That may all change tomorrow.
Indeed. Or now. There's probably a meeting going on right now.
Probably.
Yeah, I had to take a step back when the Prime Minister said, oh, you know, we could make changes to this in a month. Nothing's lasting a month at the moment. No. Everything is, you know, day by day, isn't it?
Yep.
Anyway, I'm seeing one of the things I wanted to say, the homework piece I gave you on the Mindful Night is a really nice project to consider, you know, kids playing in the remote learning stage, because that social emotional learning is very important in these very troubling times. And if we're scared as adults who can rationalise what this is all about, you know, I worry how kids are coping. That project's there, and even if you teach younger children, I think the Mindful Night could be a great thing for a family to play together, or, you know, siblings to play together. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that, do go in, because all the teachers who've played it so far regard it quite highly. And people who teach mindfulness say that they think it hits on all the right messages. So for a beginning group, it was designed for 11 to 13-year-olds, but I do think it could be pushed down or could be played by a multi-age group, or maybe suggest that it's something parents could sit and play with their kids, you know, and talk through as they play it. So have a look at it, see what you think if you haven't had a chance. Have any of you played it yet?
No.
No. Okay. Well, again, it's linked in the Teams space as the homework 2 piece. Let me just share that again just so we know what we're doing. And I keep losing my screens. I don't want to give you the wrong. Where's my TeamSpeak screen? Oh, that's this one. Yeah, because we were in the lesson plan. Okay, if I go back to Teams, and so the first homework was our designer gateway, and they're very cool if you haven't had a chance to go in and have a look. And the second one was the Mindful Night, which is on the homework 2. It could be, there's a strange thing with Teams in that it only allows 7 channels to be public immediately. And so I have to swap them in and out to add a new channel. So you may see a list at the bottom that says hidden channels or, you know, not visible channels, and you might need to look for it. But the Mindful Night is a world you can download and play through that's based on social emotional learning, teaching kids mindfulness. And it's got some nice breathing technique and some things, and it's in the form of a game. So it's a really nice piece that you might find useful to jump in. But you'll see the comments there from other teachers who've had a look at it. And I've given the instructions there because I didn't, and Amanda jumped in and said she needed the instructions for how to bring it into her Minecraft's worlds. But lots of positive feedback there from teachers so far who've used it and have shown it to their kids to get feedback from the kids on what they thought about it. And then just my final comment there about whether this could be something fun for kids to play at home with their parents and go through and do it together. So a nice piece there. And the other thing I was going to say about the classroom mode, if you go to the cluster for managing Minecraft and then to files, so anything that's a file is related in the files link at the top of that group, you'll see the Academy for March, Managing Minecraft Academy. And inside there is all the resources that we used looking at how to manage Minecraft and the technical capacity of classroom mode. So you'll find a slide set there, slides, teacher management, and yeah, certainly jump in and have a look at that if that's useful. But I do recommend classroom mode. I love it. And even remotely, you can freeze the game because you're the owner of the world. You can freeze the game for the students if you want to pause them for some reason. Or you may want to seize if you find something inappropriate in the chat. Then you might want to have a little teachable moment to comment, and you can freeze the play and freeze the chat. So I don't want to take up any more of your time unless anyone has a question.
No, that's a few things for me to have a look at now. That's good.
That's it. All good.
Okay. Well, thanks guys for coming along. It's only a small group, but that's great. We have a recording and everyone else will be able to follow along and watch the recording and see how we fantastically linked up in the world. And all the best, and enjoy the holidays, whatever shape or form they take. Yes, fingers crossed, everybody. Yeah, and stay well and healthy. And I look forward to hearing more from you as we go forward.
Thanks, Bro.
Thanks, bro.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.